Today, I'm joined by Nick Chambers, a real estate entrepreneur, broker, investor, AI consultant, and educator based out of Houston, Texas. Nick has spent nearly 2 decades in real estate after transitioning from corporate marketing world during the 2008 financial crash. Since then, he's built teams, flipped properties, developed new construction projects, launched a real estate school, and now teaches CE courses focused on AI and marketing innovation from agents and brokers. We're going to talk about real estate, AI, agent growth, revenue share models, and technology, and how they are colliding right now and what operates for Nick and what he is seeing firsthand in the market. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you so much for letting me be here.
So, Nick, why don't we get started? I already explained to the listeners where you're from, but how did you get into this business?
Yeah, so I got into this business when I saw the need for vertical integration. So I was out of the corporate world into the flipping world and was flipping homes during '08 and first of '09. And when being in that business, you find that really the key is to find deals. And so instead of relying on agents to go help me do that and help me through the process, I decided to get my license. And from there, decided that I wasn't going to focus on being the best agent in the world, but actually being the best business owner in the world. And so I focused on the fact that, okay, how do I build the business that will serve all the needs?
Okay. And so you've got this business going now, and you're going in what sounds like a couple different directions, even though they all assimilate together. Can
Yeah.
you share a little bit more about what your current role is in all of this and everything that's going on between the brokerage, growth, investing, AI consulting, and real estate school? I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot. And it happened over time. And so in the beginning, it was how do I take care of the need? And with that, it became, I was flipping houses. I needed to become a real estate agent. And then I realized I wanted to become a broker. And then I wanted to get into leadership in regards to in Keller Williams. I was part of the agent advisory council and really worked my way up into being an advisor in our Keller Williams office. And then after that, during all that time, I had a business partner and he and I worked hand in hand in our growth. And he was a pivotal part of how that growth happened. And as we grew, we ended up seeing a business model opportunity over at Keller Williams. And we moved over to Keller Williams when Keller Williams started. We were in the high 4,000 number in regards to when we joined. There, we actually figured out that we actually truly had a business. We truly had a machine, and we were interested in growing that. And so we grew that nationwide. We had a team expansion in multiple places in St. Louis and LA, across every major city in Texas, and even expanded one of our agents out of St. Louis down to Puerto Rico as EXP grew. And with that, it created a model of how do we maintain this structure for growth and capability. And so that's when I started teaching, and I started teaching through CIPS, which is Certified International Property Specialist, as well as I started teaching through the satellite processes of the Residential Real Estate Council, which is part of CRS. And with that, I became the state president for CRS. I was traveling and teaching on cruises of all places for CIPS. And that became a model of how to not only grow agents, but also grow myself in my career. And so when that all started to grow, I determined that I needed to create a school. I wanted to create a better model in regards to how I was representing and taking care of agents. And I wanted to make sure to grow with not the next new thing, but to grow with the right-minded people. And there's always a comment that you are better when you're in the right room with the right people. And so the key is to always get in the right room, right? The key is that you want to be in that right space with the right people so you can grow. That led me to moving just recently in November to move over to Realty of America. And I am a part of their first 3,000 agents. I am more at the top level of revenue share downline perspectives. And I have the ability to make changes and growth for this organization and for my downline organization as I grow. And so with that, I wanted to make sure to give value back to anybody who wanted to come over. And I wanted to make sure that I was being on the cutting edge of things. And before I made the switch, back when OpenAI came out, I was invited to be a part of the beta version of OpenAI, which really opened the door to the AI consulting, the AI opportunities, the AI growth. I was in the beta version of Facebook back in the day because I was at Baylor University. And that's when Baylor was picked to be one of the 3 universities that would beta test Facebook before it came out. And because of that, I ended up being on the beta of a handful of social medias over the years, all the way through LinkedIn, Twitter, and a few other companies, which led me to the mind of I want to be the innovator, right? I want to be the growth prospector. And AI has been the class I've been teaching now for 2 years. And so fast forward to today, I am building a new and more innovative and more future focused collective group, not necessarily just a team, but actually a growth machine. Team members tend to feel like they're trapped or feel like they can't achieve greatness. And I want to bring on great people who want to achieve greatness and fill in the gap of what Realty of America and what the industry is not offering to those agents with providing top-notch education, as well as providing technology platforms, AI tools, and structure to utilize those systems to then be able to do better, efficient, cutting-edge business on a day-to-day basis.
Well, that is a lot to swallow. Let me ask though, how much of your marketing background shaped the way you operate as an entrepreneur today?
Yeah, so I think that as a marketer, I got my marketing degree at Baylor University. I started my first marketing consulting company while I was in my first marketing class. I would go to class, I would learn something, and then I would walk down Main Street in Waco and knock on every business and sell that product. And that kind of instilled in me all the way to today that business doesn't happen if you're not willing to go out there and make it happen. And so what that does is now I'm looking at everything I do as how does it do 3 things? 1, how does it give exposure? How does it 2, how does it give authority? And 3, how does it get me in front of a person to do business with? And if it doesn't have all 3 of those, I don't necessarily focus on doing it. And so I want to speak and do and act as the authority in that space. I want to make sure that I am getting in front of the right people. And I want to make sure that the people I'm getting in front of are people who want to work with me. May be it that they want consulting, be it that they want to be an agent that works with me, be it that they're wanting to buy, sell, lease, build, invest, all those aspects of real estate. But really at the end of the day, out of all of it, you have to have the fourth. And the fourth is that you have to be willing to do it with service. If you're not willing to do all of this in the hope and desire to serve whoever you're with, then it is selfish. It's one-sided. And being willing to serve in all of those aspects allows for the fact that you're coming off genuine and you're coming off with the perspective of truth and not in the perspective of need. And I never want to come across, no matter if I am in need, I never want to come across as needing it. I want them to want to work with me, and in turn, we will do business. And that might mean that I am a long tail delayer in regards to closing somebody because I feel that they don't see value in it yet. I'm not somebody who is a hard sell or a hard closer. I'm a supporter, and I part of this movement. I am launching a coaching group that we are going to be considered the Sherpas. And I don't know if you know that what that word means, but Sherpas are people who live in Nepal and live around St. Helens, and they are people who have gone to the summit before. You cannot be a Sherpa unless you've gone to the summit. I think it's like 12 15 times. And so then you're considered a Sherpa. And what that means is that, and that's why people hire a Sherpa and a team. And that Sherpa, the reason you hire them is they've been where you want to go. They know how to get to the accomplishment that you're trying to get to. And in that mind, we want to help people figure out where they want to go and assign them a coach, a mentor, a program that will already know how to get where they're wanting to be and guide them through it, i.e. carrying their baggage and carrying their holding their hand and making sure they achieve their goal without falling off the mountain. And if we can do that, and we can build that as a model of how business should be done, then we will not only change the lives of the people we're helping, but we're also changing the culture of the people around us. If we're all coming with that service, then people are they're gonna be magnetized to it. They're gonna want to come, right?
Right. Well, that's very energetic and very optimistic and great leadership and everything like that. With that being said, what major shifts are you seeing right now in real estate around AI adoption and agent efficiency?
Yeah, I think there's a cross between excitement and fear. Excitement in the industry of real estate, there's this unfortunate term of shiny pennies, and people get excited about something that they think is the silver bullet and that's going to solve all their problems. And AI is really not that. It is a tool for efficiency and systems, not for wiping you out of the business. Okay. And a lot of people are worried about that. And it's not designed to wipe real estate agents off the map. Now, if you're a copywriter, or if you're a graphic designer or a social media manager, yes, maybe. There will be a time that you will manage AI tools for clients instead of actually having to do all the labor of those tasks, right? But I think where the win is for agents is if they will look at the things they're doing on a day-to-day basis and then allow AI to turn that into systems for them so they can spend more time with clients, more time out with people, right? And more time where their future clients are, they'll actually see an increase in business. Right now, the market is normalizing from the high of COVID time, and we are normalizing out of the low of the years that the last administration was in, right? Things are coming back to more of a normal rung. And when you look at 2018, 2017, 2019, and you look at today's numbers, if you take out that middle, we're actually in line with how the growth line should have been. And if we can realize that, if we can understand that, then we can advise, we can be the authority in the market and give guidance and show people that it isn't scary, it isn't worrisome, and we are on a path of normalizing to where there shouldn't be 400 multiple offers or there shouldn't be homes that should be sitting on the market for a year. The average right now in our market is about 60 to 90 days, and that's normal. That's actually where it should be to push the right activity into the market and move things along. Now, that's the average. So you have homes that are selling in 2 days, and then you have homes that are selling at 200 days. So in that mind, the key right now is not necessarily worried about price per square foot. It's all about worrying about what the buyer sentiment is. And that's one thing that we've built with an AI tool to determine what the buyer sentiment is. It assesses what Reddit, Google, all the AI tools, all the general news, it assesses what people are saying, asking, and talking about in regards to all the way down to a micro market to a major market. And it allows us to determine what is important to people. And here's the thing is that before, the only way to know that is to either sit in open houses every weekend and ask people how you're feeling or go to door to door. But now we're able to see what people are talking about on the internet, right? And if they're talking about they only want move-in ready homes, and why would anybody put a house on the market that needs work? Those are key terms that we should take to our sellers and say, hey, the reason that buyers are coming today is because they're looking for turnkey homes. Before we put the house on the market, would you be willing to either do all of these things or us put together a list, go get a quote, and offer that as a credit to buyers? What does that do? Utilizes AI, right? To give advice to get a better result. And see, that is the point. We're not looking to replace an agent. We're looking to find tools, systems, and processes that will elevate the agent to be smarter, better, faster, so that they'll be successful.
So they can move more efficiently.
Absolutely.
So you talked about agents wanting someone to just do it for them when it comes to AI implementation. Do you think the industry is moving towards more done-for-you systems versus agents learning the tech themselves?
100%. I teach an AI class. I'm rolling out an AI advanced class for automation. And I'm finding more and more people say, hey, would you be willing to just do it for me? Meaning build the system out, make it set up, make sure that it's just on. And that's where the AI consulting happened. I had multiple agents who said, I don't want to go to your 3-hour CE class. I would rather either have an in-depth one-on-one or one-on-one with my team, or I'd love to just know what the price is for you to build out the things that you're going to talk about in that class and hand it off to me. And that's okay for businesses that have either big budgets or businesses who have people teams that will run and manage and review and utilize the systems. The average agent is slow to implement, not because of anything more than that they don't want to put in the work to manage it on a day-to-day basis. As much of an automated system that you can create, it still takes you to choose to implement it, right? And so either you have to go to these done with you by workshops that I'm putting on, or you have to choose that you want one-on-one consulting services, or you have to choose that you want a bespoke or a out-of-the-box solution that will solve your needs and be willing to pay my team, your team. I know that you do AI consulting, which is awesome. I love that we have that in common. Choose our teams to help walk through the need, determine the problem, and make sure that we're building systems that will actually achieve your goals as a client, so that when we're done, you actually feel that it is more efficient. It is more solution-based, because most people, they get into AI and they start messing with it and they'll spend 2 hours or 2 weeks. And at the end of the day, they didn't get anything accomplished. They kept asking the wrong thing or asking the same thing over and over again, assuming that it's going to get it right. Right. I say this in my AI classes, that if you don't know what to say, don't say, do it again. Fix that. No, that's not right. Do it again. No, why aren't you doing this? Do it again. It's obviously just doing what it's being told to do. I like to also equate it to, it is the ultimate smart tool. However, it needs the instructions of a 3-year-old.
Right.
If I say, hey, I have a 3-year-old daughter. And if I say, hey, can you go get my phone for me? She'll take off running here and there and up here and around there looking for my phone, right? I know where it is, or I may not. But she has no clue because I didn't give her any direction. Well, she ran around for 20 minutes. And the next thing you know, she's coming back and she's like, Papa, I couldn't find your phone. And I said, okay, well, what do you know about my phone that could help you find it? And she goes, oh, we can push on your watch and make the noise, and then I can go get it. Perfect. And so I say, okay, what do you do? So she pushes the button, she pushes to open it up, she swipes up, she pushes the button, makes a noise, runs straight to the phone, brings me the phone. If we give AI those very detailed explanations, it gets there quick. But if you just say, rewrite this, it's just like taking a printed email and walking up to a stranger on the street and saying, rewrite this.
Yeah.
Because it has no context of who you are, no sense of why you're writing the email. It has no sense of who the person you're writing the email to and what's the goal, right? But if you provide it with a brand voice, you provide it with a templated perspective, you provide it with an understanding of who your audience is and your understanding of who the person that you're emailing is. And it then reads all the emails that you've been sending to that person. It can draft an amazing email. I have a system that manages my email, that it evaluates all the emails that come in. It reviews everything to determine if there needs to be a draft email that goes out, and it will put those drafts in my draft folder, and it will give me a summary of all of the marketing, all of the promotions, all of the basic reviewed emails, just so I know. And I haven't looked at my email in, I think now 7 weeks. And I didn't go and buy a tool. I built that.
Right.
And I now build a basic version of that as a done with me in my 3-hour CE AI class, so that people can see the power of what a good explanation of what you're trying to do, what it can accomplish. And so I think the key is, and this is something I was going to say earlier, is that everybody that I do systems with or for, I recommend that they do one thing. They take a piece of paper, better if you print it out, but write down every 15 minutes, starting from when you start your day till when you end your day. And at the end of every 15 minutes, you will write down what you did. It could be one word, it could be a sentence, but you're just writing down what you did that 15 minutes over and over and over and over again. And I recommend you do that for 2 weeks. I know that's a lot. I know that's tedious, but you then can take those 2 weeks. And I used to do this manually, where I used to circle it and put it on the whiteboard and we'd figure out a system for you. But now I take screenshots of those two things. I hand it to AI and ask, how can I turn these 2 weeks of work into a more efficient system? Do you know that I've been able to get my clients back 45 to 60% of their time?
Wow.
Because they're repeating tasks over and over and over again that can just be automated. I was able to help. Cool. Yeah, I was able to help a clothing boutique cut their time almost in half, to where now they're able to open a new store. They're now able to be more focused on their online sales. They're able to do all these things that they didn't have time for. And at the end of the day, it's because we don't know. We really don't know what we do every day. Most people don't. They just know they showed up, they did it, they did what they thought they were supposed to do, and then they went home. But if you could look at the micro of every little thing and then look at the macro of how that would all work together, there probably 3-4 simple systems would save and give back a lot of time to everybody.
Very, very interesting stuff. So you've been involved in multiple brokerage models, including EXP and now Realty of America. How do you see the rev share brokerage evolving over the next few years?
Yeah, so the rev share model business is unique. It allows for an agent to no longer rent a desk to do work and put money in a broker's pocket. It allows for an agent to join a brand that will pay them forever off of their efforts of bringing the right people to the room. A lot of other brokerages will spend millions of dollars on advertising campaigns. Okay. And that drives traffic, true, to their brokerage. However, it doesn't allow the agent to pick their agent partner or their buddy or their friends they're going to work together. Puts those people together and says, guess what? You two are going to work together, right? And you're not only going to work together, but you're going to make sure me as the broker makes lots of money. Well, the difference is the revenue that's the revenue share model, right?
Right.
This is the rev share model, which basically that's the profit share model, and this is the rev share model. And the profit share model is bring me all the money you can, and if there's anything left, we might give you something. And that's the Keller Williams model, and really most other brands model. But EXP, Real, and Realty of America, all three have moved into this this rev share model, which is a defined number that you get every year off of the encouragement and attraction of like-minded, successful people, right? and which allows us to pick that agent that's going to work next to us and with us and around us, as well as the culture is I want to now help that agent be successful because the company is going to reward me for their success. So what does that do? It builds in a consistent support angle. It builds in a consistent cheerleader. Like, you got this. Good job. Congratulations. Right. And it builds a culture of focused success versus independent growth. And where do I see it moving between now and the future? I honestly see it continuing to disrupt the older models, because people will start to see and continue to see the opportunity of retirement. It's one thing that I talk to people about when I'm thinking that they're the just right agent that should be joining us. And I say, do you have a retirement plan? And most agents don't. I know a lot of agents who are in their 60s, 70s. I know a few in their 80s and 90s still slinging houses. And it's not because they didn't save. It's not because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. It's the fact that it's very hard to live the life that you're living off of commissions, off of savings, because you
Right.
see that go away. Even if you have a IRA and you're pulling from it, it's going away. More money is not coming in. And with the rev share model, money continues to come in every month from the agents that you have attracted and guided not only to the company, but guided into success. Not only success in their age as an agent for or as a broker associate in their day-to-day business, but success in guiding them through the process of how to build a team, guiding them through the process about how to attract, guiding through the process that if they attract and they don't want to close, they can send them back to me and I'll help them close it so that they don't feel burdened on their future success. And I am incentivized to help them to do that through the structure of how the rev share model works. And the reason that I left EXP and went to Realty of America, there's three reasons. One, it's new, which means that the stock options that we get are pre-IPO'd. It's fresh in regards to the differences in the day-to-day and in the fees and in the monthly costs and those aspects from EXP. But really, at the end of the day, it's innovative. It's being nimble because it's new. And so they're adding nimbleness to every day's process that are trying their best to solve the problems of the others. And so a lot of times when you're in a machine that is 80,000 agents or more, it's very difficult to roll out something new that's going to affect all the agents because, one, it's very costly. And two, if it doesn't work, it's a massive failure. I've seen in the last 2, 3, 4 months, Realty of America roll something out and pull it back and roll the new thing out because they see that it didn't work or, oh, we could have done that better. And they do. And they're trying to always think of the agent first, because the two gentlemen who started it were the two top agents in the country. They weren't top brokers. They were top agents. Yes, they had brokerages, but they were in production when they decided to do this machine. And they have built it and created it with the mind of the everyday agent, which is different.
It's very different, and the focus on collaboration and building community instead of agents operating on an island. I mean, why do you think that traditional brokerage still struggles with that anyway?
Yeah, I think a traditional brokerage and just the industry as a whole is an island business, which is disappointing, honestly. I think that the industry, either it's one of three things: either you're independent, you're a team leader, or you're on a team. Okay. And team leaders, if they're not around other team leaders, they feel like they're on an island taking care of a bunch of agents. Agents who join the team, they sometimes feel like they are giving their all to the team, but where's the support, right? And then the sole agent, that he or she is by themselves and they're trying to chug through the business every day, but they feel like they're on an island. And so the key is that how do we fix that? And I think that's one thing that we're trying to fix. And that is creating a model within our brokerage that everybody in our rev share downline is joining a family, joining a culture perspective of we've got you and we're going to pour into you, not once a month, not once a quarter, every day. And we're creating places for people to go. We're creating classes and activities for you to do online. I created a platform that is for our community and that is a chat area, a training area, a give back area. So if you have knowledge, you can give back to that community. But in general, our industry thrives and people thrive if they don't feel like they're doing it alone. And I think a lot of brokerages try to give that opportunity, but the traditional model is a broker and maybe an office manager and agents, and there's just not enough time for those two people to pour into every agent every day. And I think the key is leadership has to be wide and full, meaning multiple people choosing to raise their hand and say they're willing to be a leader. Our leadership rung is 6, 7, 8, 10 wide, which means that we got constant people feeding into the machine of guidance, support, and advice, as well as we have our brokers and we have our team staff, right? Which our brokerage staff, which all brokers have. But I think the key is to find a community that is willing to not only look at what you want to do and help you achieve your goal, but also feel like you're a part, feel like you can talk and speak up, feel like you can say, hey, I would love to teach something, or hey, I would love to shadow somebody, or hey, can anybody come and sit this open house with me? And know that people are going to say, yeah, let's do it, without a motive of what I get out of it, or,
Right.
how much, what is my commission split? We're all about, sure, let's do it. Let's make sure you're successful. And that's because everybody in this group is in a downline org that we're all making rev share and we're all growing together, right? And it has that sense of financial win on the back end if we all win together.
That's great. In that win, obviously, there's a bunch of things that come together with that. You mentioned about building internal systems, onboarding tools, AI agents, and training platforms for the organization that help create that win. Which of
Yeah.
those projects is getting the most traction right now?
So it's evolved over time. We started with GPTs, right? So on the lower end of the process to get tools out there as quickly as we could. We moved from there to now building our own dashboard platform. That is, I tried to find a platform that would meet our needs and be simple, clean, and honestly just ultra user interface, user friendly. And I couldn't find it. And or couldn't find it for a reasonable price. And so I spent a week and a half, 2 weeks, and built it ourselves. We're in the beta testing for that. We have about 12 people working in it right now, seeing how they like it, providing feedback. We're making tweaks. And what's so wild about it is it wasn't built by a team of people overseas. It wasn't built by 25 people or 2 people. I built it myself with an AI software builder.
Very cool.
Me and an AI, we built it by ourselves. And not only does it's not what I like to say as a dumb software where it's whatever you put in it, it is what it is. It actually has, I think 15 as of yesterday when I did another update, AI agents that work on the different tools that are in it. And so it is learning every day. It is interacting with you, it is achieving your goals. It's not just print and copy. Right? It's not, I'm going to say hello and there's not just classes you can go to. These are things that like tools that like our sentiment tracker. You can go in there and type in your location, type in your client type. So like residential or move up or whatever. And you can every single day go in there and click and see the sentiment of what's going on in the market. You can then ask then to use that sentiment with your AI avatar that we've built in there, that you can answer a handful of questions and create an avatar of your ideal client. You can take the sentiment and your ideal client, your avatar, and it will create content for you. It will tell you what video you need to record today. It will tell you what information you need to post. Each of those is an AI agent, as well as the calendar systems, and it has an AI agent that will clean it up and make sure it's efficient and make sure that everybody can search and structure it right. And throughout the whole process, there's different AI agents that are making the tool better. And so the difference is that I want to make our organization not only a community, but an advanced tool community that has tools that will help them in their day-to-day business be just more efficient, more successful, more on the cutting edge of what you're doing. And myself and other real estate agents, we're sitting around every morning going, oh, I got to put another social media post out there. What do I say? What do I do? Right? They're all going, what do I reach out to my clients for this week? Or how many times should I call somebody and what should I say? And I think the key is if we can give them those done for you systems, right? Then people will no longer be able to say, what should I do? And they can just act. They can do it. They can pick out of the 5 suggested videos, I'm going to do these 2, or I'm going to do this 1, or I'm going to go crazy and record all 5 today, right? Or I can implement this sequence into my CRM and be able to reach out to my past clients better, or in that mind, just helping them be successful and allow them to achieve capping to where they can spend more time in their year at 100% than maybe the other agents, right, that are out there. And it's because they now can say, not only did I join this brokerage, but I have a blueprint, I have a plan to what I need to do every day. And not only am I doing it, but I'm doing it with a community. And so if I have troubles, I can go on the community board and submit a question or comment or suggestion, and I'm going to get 100 people in that community respond with support, guidance, suggestions. I'm going to come do it with you, right? We're adding on it some tools where if you need somebody to help you with an open house, you can post it on there and people can register, right? But also, if you're shooting videos and whatever on your own, you'll be able to go on there and say, hey, I'm doing a shoot day tomorrow or on Friday. Anybody want to come with me, right? I'll hold the video, I'll hold the camera if you hold the camera for me, right? What do you think? And people are going to raise their hand. And instead of one person, they're going to have 4 people go do it together. And what does that do? That just builds momentum and excitement. It builds focus and growth. And it allows for not rev share to go from being an attraction model just to make revenue, to attraction model to build a better community, right?
Right.
And that better community will build better agents that will have better results, which will build better success.
Very cool. Very cool. One of the things that I liked in some of the conversation we had previous to this was you talked about helping agents become more efficient rather than necessarily becoming top producing agents themselves. And that's a pretty different philosophy from traditional brokerage pitch. What has changed in the mindset of the kind of person that you're trying to attract?
Well, if you look at the industry, only 20% can be the top 20%, right? That leaves 80% of agents feeling left behind, feeling left out. If we can help the agent who last year did 2 or 3 transactions to do 1 a month, right? That would change their life.
Yeah.
If we can help every real estate agent make a minimum of $100,000 a year as a baseline, it creates a wave of happiness, betterness, willingness to give back and support their own communities and give back and support the community, our community that we're building. And it just takes and gives people a way to move to the next step versus saying our tools make you the top 1%. The top 1% to 20% is not about tools and systems. It's about the person who wants to work harder and longer than anybody else. Because here's the thing is, if I said to you to be the top 1%, you had to sell 300 transactions last year, right? And we divide that over the year, you're like, there's no way, I don't have enough time to be even on that many appointments, right? Well, let's stop focusing on telling everybody, what I got's going to get you to be the top 20% or top producer or the top 1%. Let's start telling agents, we're going to get you to the next level. If you're already doing 100 transactions, let's get you to 150. If you're doing 4 transactions, let's get you to 12, right?
Yeah.
And the systems and the tools are there to help you grow, not be a social media influencer that is driving around in a Maserati or a BMW, or let's jump it up, a Bugatti or a Lamborghini, but you don't own it. You rented it for a weekend and you drove around. They took a lot of video and photos of you for 48 hours and you returned it. And you're posting that out all year, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, he's so great. He's driving his Bugatti. No, he's not. He's driving his Toyota, right?
Right.
Let's quit trying to be social media influencers that are fake and be community influencers that are real, right? Let's be great because we've decided to be great, not be great because we're pretending to be great. And I think, that nobody told me when I joined real estate, or even when I was a marketer, that there would be a day when you no longer are a real estate agent. You are a social media influencer. And that's what we've all have to become to sell today. Because if we don't, a person who has, 4,000 followers more than you is getting more eyeballs and they're getting to be seen. But there's something I really like that has been going around lately that I think if we can really hone in on this, I think it will help the everyday agent. Is if I put 50 people in a room and allowed you to get up on the stage and talk to them, do you think you'll sell more houses?
Yeah.
So 50 views on social media is a good thing. If I put 25 people in a room, do you think you could probably guide those people over the next 12 months to trust and like you? If you only got 25 views on all of your videos, do you think 25 people might either refer you somebody or work with you and do more than 4 transactions? Yes. So then expand that out, 25, then 500, then 1,000, right? 1,000 people. I mean, people begs, big producing people beg to be on a stage in a room to speak to 1,000 people. They beg, I'll do it. I'll do it for free. Just get me on the stage. I want the exposure, right? That's huge in the idea that if you can grow your audience to get to the point where you're talking and 1,000 people see you on a day-to-day basis, you don't need to be viral and get 100,000 views or 1,000,000 views. That's people who are never going to buy from you, never going to sell with you, never going to refer somebody to you because they're in another country, but that's not why they're watching you. So I recommend on social media that we become a very focused voice to who our avatar is, to our geolocation is, and to what our goal is. If our goal is to sell more houses, focus on sellers that need to sell and buy. If your focus is to help VA recipients, focused on military and military families, educate and support. If your goal is to do more AI consulting, talk about how your solution will solve their problem. Right? And in that mind, if we're talking about what we want as our goal and not all of this fluff out there, then the right people over time will find us. And if that's 5, 10, 15, 25 views and comments and interactions, don't be mad about it. Be excited that you got into the room today and talked to 25 people. When I just got into this business, I was needing to make some more money. My flips were slowing, and I needed to make some cash and cash fast. And I hadn't been focusing on my real estate business. And I walked into the biggest Starbucks in Houston and looking nice with my little computer and bag in hand, walked right into the middle and I screamed out, "Excuse me, everybody. Hello." And everybody looked at me like, oh my God, this guy's going to blow the place up. And I said, "I'm a real estate agent. If anybody needs to buy, sell, or rent this week, I'm going to be right over there. I'd love for you to come talk to me. If you come talk to me about buy, selling, or renting, or know somebody who's needing that, I'll buy you a coffee." Do you know that I got a line in front of my table? Because most of the people sitting in Starbucks needed some advice, needed some help, needed some suggestions, needed a path of how to get out of their apartment, how to sell their house, and they didn't know what to do, all those things. And this was during the crash of 08, 09, that aspect, right? So people were worried. And I bought, I think, 15 coffees. I did 4 rentals. I got 2 listings and 1 buyer.
Worth the investment.
Not only worth the investment, but worth the announcement. And
Yeah.
so if we can look at social media as walking into a Starbucks and announcing your need by giving advice, suggestions, and ideas, then people will raise their hand. People will say, "Hey, I need that. I need that help." Right? And these are some tools that we're building in the platform that will help with what to say and when to say it and what not to say. That's a big thing, right? If I could tell you, don't say these 5 things today because it's a hot button perspective. I'm not talking about politics or religion. I'm talking about, don't talk about interest rates, right? Talk about this stuff instead. Don't talk about how the housing market is slowing. Talk about how it's normalizing to give more opportunity to buyers, right? If we can have those kind of tools in our pocket and then encourage everybody to actually use them, what would the voice be differently in the market, right? How would people see us as authority and advisory versus a dancing monkey? I'm pretty sure you don't want to sell your $1.2 million house to the person who's doing TikTok dances every day. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Maybe you're a dancer and you love their dancing.
Well, when you're talking about social media and creating the right community and AI in real estate, what would you say is still massively underestimated right now?
I think what's massively underestimated right now in the processes is automation. And it's because it's scary. I don't want to let go. It's those aspects, right? And I think that moving towards true agentic AI agents is what's lacking because of the majority of our industry is very polarized. It's it's older agents, right, who've been doing this forever and I don't change, right? And then it's newer people or younger people who they don't want to take the time to understand it, right? They just want it to be done for them. They just want it to be, just do it. I don't want to understand it. I just want it done, right? But the true agentic AI, I think, is the future of our business, but also the future of everything, to where instead of you and I doing most of the general tasks that we have to do on a day-to-day basis, we've trained a model that speaks, looks, and acts like us to do those tasks for us. And it's no different than hiring an executive assistant or hiring a VA or hiring a office manager who looks and acts and does those tasks for us. But the average agent never have achieved the financial wealth to be able to hire staff, right? And they don't understand what that handoff looks like. But I've run teams that have had lots of staff and lots of overhead. And now I have about 40 AI agents that do all and more of what those staff members did at not even a fraction we're talking like a penny a month compared to what I was paying before. So it's so affordable. It's so easy. You just have to want to do it. And that's where the AI consulting comes in, to be able to say, hey, what are your problems? What are your needs? Let's build it for you, and let's hand you a system that you have. The difference is that if you want to put some time, effort into learning it, then there's a very minuscule monthly fee to it, right? Maybe up to $200, right? When you're doing AI consulting and you're buying it from somebody else who's put in the time, effort to build it, not only do you have the cost to host it, but you have the cost for management and to keep it. And so it can be upwards of five to $500 to $1,000 a month, because it's not based off of the raw costs. And so if we can encourage people to learn, we're teaching people to fish versus asking them to pay the fishermen.
Well, that's great. Just a wealth of information today on this call and everything. And I just have a few more questions for today. You talked about creating tools that agents outside of your ecosystem would eventually pay for, while members get them included. Do you see that becoming the next major competitive advantage for brokers?
I don't see it as being a competitive advantage for brokers, honestly, because I think it's outside of their wheelhouse. That's one thing that's setting me apart. I think that's one thing that's setting you apart as being a tech-minded person, that if we can see how to turn our thoughts and ideas into the solution, right? A really great book, if you haven't read it, is it's called Rework. It's about a tech company who they determined that they needed to create a software to better what they needed internally, and realized after they built it that that was their biggest seller. There was more people who wanted to buy that tool than the tool that they were trying to sell. And I've always understood that and believed that whatever I am doing, if I can build it as a repeatable task that I can sell it, then there's going to be buyers because I needed it, right? And so all of the tools that I'm building are all tools that I need for my day-to-day work, my day-to-day business, my day-to-day growth. And I am looking at it as two things. One, a revenue stream, and two, an attraction tool. If revenue stream for all the people out there that need and want it because I needed it and wanted it, that are never looking to make a move. There's hundreds of thousands of agents all over the world, right? They don't all have to come to Realty of America, but they can pay a monthly fee to use my software, right? Where the agents who see the benefit of coming over to Realty America will get those tools for free because they've made a move to come over, right? I make rev share, they are successful, and they get to utilize the tools that I use every day for their success. And even help. My hope is that everybody in the community can help make those software tools better, right? Everything that I have is because I thought it up. I'm guarantee you that somebody next to me has another idea that I didn't think about that we can implement, and they get access to it. So yeah, that's the hope. Thank you so much for asking. I'm going to give you a link to put down below, and it's the best way to get a hold of me and really guide you through the steps of the options I have. To send you to one URL, it's going to just send you to one option, right? And so I'd love to send you to kind of an opportunity to where you can see what the different paths are. And I really look forward to connecting. The goal is really, truly to give and to support. And if I can do that for somebody from this, I look forward to it.
Well, again, great information. And we've been speaking with Nick Chambers from his growing real estate and AI consulting ecosystems. Nick, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you sharing your insight on brokerage growth, AI implementation, education, collaboration, and where you think real estate industry is heading next. Again, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me join you, and thank you for the invite. Bye.